right, part 2 of our intro video here. So I'm back in still in lesson 108. I just want to start clicking on some of these items, showing you guys what it's all made up of. Let's jump back here and go into our first item, the IEC Student Manual web book. So we'll go ahead and click on that. Again, this is a direct copy of the actual IEC student manual that you all have a hard copy of. First thing you can see, there's a kind of a collapsible menu here. I can click this table of contents. It's expandable. I can sort of jump around to any section. You know, again, just to be clear, this is the book we're talking about. You guys be careful. One's a student manual. One is a student workbook. Other than that title there, they look the same. The manual is what we're looking at here. The workbook is actually all of the worksheets, right? So anyway, let's go back to 108 like we just looked at. So let's go ahead and collapse that so we can see everything. So one thing to notice, if this stuff looks familiar, the purpose, the homework, the objectives. What's really nice about the LMS is they actually take all of this from this first title page and put it right in the LMS. Additionally, probably the most important thing off this page, is there any additional reading? In this case, yes, there is. Chapter 3 of the EWR. If you're looking at that trying to read it, you can't see it. Simply double click and actually zooms in here on any of this content, right? Double click to zoom back out. So, you know, we can literally click and drag this page like it were a real book. We can click the arrows to flip pages, or you can kind of scroll up and down as well. Be careful about that. If it's tempting to go here and want to scroll the page, the web page down, and you end up scrolling the pages. So, one other thing to note while we're here, every lesson has a short safety lesson at the end of it, and also a short worksheet on that safety lesson. That's shouldn't be too hard. Should be a nice, easy thing for you, but that's at the end of every lesson. So again, you know, here's your textbook. You have a hard copy, but you also have this as a resource as well, which this is, again, new for us this year. I think it's a really nice feature. We can go back to our main page again by clicking on our home button over there. Not this home button, but the course title. Let's go back down to 108. So the next thing we can really click on is sort of the instructor upload. In this case, I have a video here for you guys. And again, it's all YouTube links. It's embedded right in here. You can hit play, right? You can. I generally would recommend you expand it because obviously it's pretty small here in this format. But one thing to notice is we have these arrows down here. We can effectively sort of jump from one thing to the next without ever going back to that home page, right? Because you can see the next thing is the extra USB receptacle. Well, let's go back, and we see that after the video is the extra USB receptacle. So again, you could sort of jump from one thing to the next. We'll just click on one of these IEC curriculum content pages here. Again, that's just an embedded video, and we see we could jump to the next video by clicking that link, right? But I'm going to jump back to our home page because we don't necessarily need to see every single link here. These videos, again, nice, short, quick little things. This one's 27 seconds long. Cycle through them. I think you'll find some good stuff there. The review options, or the review items here, I think these are, again, a nice addition. It's new for us this year. We have this little review presentation. I've seen most of these. I think they do a pretty good job. It's kind of like a brief PowerPoint. It all comes straight from the textbook. You can just kind of click your way through. A lot of the in-person instructors are going to be using this for their actual, class lectures. Let's go ahead and go to the flashcards. I think this is a nice one too, but I want to sort of show you how to use this. So basically they say a general purpose branch circuit, and then you are to define that. To me, that's a little backwards, so that's why we have these buttons here. So do I want to define a term, or do I want them to tell me a definition and then I say what that definition is? I think that's the more realistic option. So flip over to this definition section here, right? And again, it's not graded. It's just for your own benefit. You can read it and say, what do we think it is? Come up with your answer and go ahead and check it. Go to the next one. Again, you don't even have to click these. I won't know if you ever clicked them or not. This is simply for you guys to review and brush up before the actual graded content. So let's go back to the main page here. So we just hit review options. Now we're down to the worksheets. That's when I do want to show you what that looks like. So essentially, once you hit this worksheets, now you're being graded, okay? All the other stuff is for you to absorb the content and practice. So now we get to the worksheets, which are, again, your homework grade, technically. You do have 2 attempts on these. So let's just click on one and look what this is going to look like. So they're telling me I have 2 attempts allowed. It's going to keep the highest grade. Do I want to attempt now? Yes, I do. So here's what you're going to see here, right? And this particular quiz only has 5 questions. I can see that up here. If there were, it'll show 10 questions per page, and then you've got to go to the next page. But this is a nice overview to see how long the assignment is. And they vary. Some are 3 and 4 questions. Some are 20 questions. But you're simply going to come through and just answer these guys, right? And I'm just going to pick some random ones here. And we're down to the end. We know there's not a next page. So careful, don't click to the next worksheet, but rather finish your attempt before you do. And it's going to warn me a couple times here. It's going to say, you've saved answers for all these questions. Yes, that's good. Do I want to go back, or do I want to go ahead and say, yes, these are my answers? And one more time, it's going to warn me. And it's going to come, and it's actually going to tell you whether you got them right or wrong now. But it's not going to tell you what the correct answer is until you've used up your attempts. And actually, we can't tell you that and then have you have another attempt. But it tells me, okay, so in this case, I did pretty terrible. I only got, 1 right? And I can look at that up here, too, and get a nice overview. So you better bet I'm going to be redoing this attempt. So if I want to do that, I'm going to hit Finish Review, and I can hit Reattempt Quiz. Or not, I can simply navigate away from this page. So that's how your assignments are going to be sort of administered. And if I check the grades, I'll see right now that I have a 2 out of 10 if we go all the way down to the 108 here. So where do we go? So yeah, so our reading worksheet 101, I have a 20% at this point, right? And if we look at the headings here, the calculated weight, my actual grade then is what I'm looking at. So the grades are actually maintained automatically as well. And if we jump back to our main page, I think we're just about at the end here. Again, the only last thing we really had was sort of this comprehension quiz, which is going to look the same as what we just saw. That's how all the assignments are going to go. You will see, again, from time to time, I might post some announcements up here. I'm also going to have a forum, for lack of a better word. If you guys have any questions, again, it'll be a link at the top here. You click on that forum and post the question to that forum. What that does, number one, is it alerts me. I get an email every time somebody does that. But number two, it allows all of the class participants to see that question. Because what I really want to build here is kind of a community response where if I respond to the question, everybody sees it. Because I can almost guarantee if you have the question, somebody else does too. I want to get all the info out to every participant as best as we can. So again, I'm going to have that forum for questions at the top of the page here. I'll also post a schedule of where you should be at what date. I think what I'm going to do there is again, we have 4 schools. I'm going to sort of look at all 4 schools' schedule, take whatever school starts last and whatever school ends first. That's going to be our effective working dates. So some of you will get a few more days than others. None of this has a due date. You could do it all today or you could do it all on the last day of school. Neither one recommended. But I am going to highly recommend you try to stick as closely to that schedule that I'm going to put out as you can. This is going to get overwhelming if you if you get behind. And frankly, if you speed ahead, I don't think you're going to get the same impact. So again, I highly, highly recommend you try to stick as closely to that schedule as you can. So I'm about to wrap up here. Before I do, if anybody has any questions, comments, concerns, again, through my email address up there, you'll all have an email from me by this point anyway. My phone number will be in there. Please do not hesitate to reach out via email, phone, text, or through the LMS as well. I guess, I clicked on participants here. If you go to sort of my student or my instructor thing here, you can click on my name, and there's actually an option to send a message. You can do that to any of the participants. You can do that to Christy Wickard. You can do that to Marissa Bankert, your other classmates. But, again, send me a message on here. I'll get that as well. Anyway, don't hesitate to reach out. Hopefully I will. If I haven't already, I'll get a chance to meet all of you here and kind of talk about this early on in the year. Either way, welcome aboard, everybody. Good luck.